good morning. Welcome back to another vlog. I am out here this morning to do a little hike chat and just walk and enjoy nature while I answer some questions from you guys. Ramble a little bit on life lately and my thoughts and feelings and all the things. I've been really enjoying doing these periodically. I think it really helps me get out of my head a little bit and talk in a less filtered way that just feels more comfortable for me. So let's get into it. First question, how are you adjusting to Grace being in school? It has been just such a big shakeup in our routine, bigger than I expected. So adjusting to it emotionally, really good. She's thriving. She loves it. The first week or so, I was so worried about her and it's a big deal. It's a big milestone. Her going to school every day now, but it's only a couple hours. So in my head, yes, this is a big deal in terms of her starting school and growing up, but she's still going to be home most of the time. It's just a couple hours, but I didn't expect how much it would really shake up our day-to-day life and change our routine, because now pretty much our whole day is revolving around school. In the time before school every day, it's okay, I don't want to do too much with them, and then Grace is tired going to school, and also we've got to get ready, we've got to pack the lunch, all those things. And then during the time that Grace is at school every day, Alice is napping for a good chunk of it, and that has been awesome for my productivity, being able to have that block of time every day for work stuff, house stuff, whatever, exercise. It's been a game changer. But it also means that I need to be home during that time, so can't really run errands during school time. And then when we pick her up, we usually come home and rest, have a snack. There are a couple days a week that she has an activity in the evening. So all of a sudden, it's oh my gosh, where did the day go? It's just such a change from just a couple of months ago, where every single day it was okay, what are we doing today? I want to make sure we are getting out of the house. Are we going to the library or the zoo? Are we meeting up with friends at the park for a play date? It very quickly has gone from okay, what activities and outings are we going to fill the day with, to okay, where can I fit things in around school and activities? And it's led to us doing a lot fewer outings, There's just not time for it. And I don't know, I didn't realize how much that would change with her going to school. And it makes me really appreciative for that time that I had with both of them at home and all of the unstructured time and all of the fun outings we got to do. But then also in a way, kind of mourning that, So it's been a big change, but I feel we're doing well with it. And it definitely has made us all appreciate the weekends more and get excited for the holiday breaks. And it's also been special in a different way to have that one-on-one time with Alice that is harder to come by with baby number 2. Have you been able to keep up with scrapbooking and other hobbies while doing running? Not as well as I would like. Mostly no. It's just, the reality is at this stage of my life, I only have so many hours to pour into my own hobbies and be by myself. And so right now I'm spending almost all of that time on running, and even just with that, having to do a good amount of scheduled gymnastics to fit my workouts and my runs in. And the reality is, there's just only so much time left after that. And I'm totally okay with that. I am absolutely loving running. It's been so good for me. I really enjoy that time for myself when I'm out on my runs. It feels very restorative, but that time does come at the expense of my other hobbies. And also, I really struggle with being an all or nothing person. Oh my God, I'm having so much fun with this thing. Let me learn everything I can about it and think about it all the time and dedicate all my time to it. And that's fine in some ways, It's great to be excited about something and fulfilled by something, but I'm trying to at least keep a hand in a little bit of my other hobbies. And I still read, not nearly as much as I did last year. Also a lot more audiobooks again, because I'll listen to those while I'm running or doing laundry, cleaning up the house. I also used to stay up really late reading a lot of the times, and now I go to bed really early almost every night because I'm waking up early a lot of days to get my runs in, and now I just naturally wake up a little bit early. I'm junk journaling, which is really, what is the difference between junk journaling and scrapbooking? And I was really into more typical scrapbooking for years, but it's been so long since I've done it. I think what really drew me to junk journaling is like the messiness and imperfectness of it. And I started doing that with Grace, so that's been a really fun hobby we've, taken part in together, and it's also just like very relaxing, and it's been a really fun way for us to just unwind and connect at the end of the day. We're always like looking for little scraps of things we can grab to fill the junk journal and have all of those little memories together. And when we first started it, it was like a true junk journal of just scraps of paper and maps and things. And recently we got a little mini photo printer. So we've been now adding photos to the junk journal page, which I feel like then just kind of makes it more of a scrapbook, but like a more low effort scrapbook. And so, yeah, definitely like 90% running with my hobbies right now, but I'm really trying to make sure I don't fully lose hold of that other 10%. I'm planning a trip right now to take the girls rock hounding once the weather cools off more, go out into the desert, collect rocks together, and then we can put them in the rock tumbler. So it's also fun as the kids get older to like involve them with my hobbies and take up new hobbies together too. On the topic of reading, read anything good lately? I am almost done with the book Jesus and John Wayne. Highly recommend, especially if you're someone who grew up in Christian evangelical circles. Very, very eye-opening. I feel like also I've been getting back into more nonfiction than fiction, which also is probably why I'm reading less. I feel like I read slower with nonfiction, and with fiction, that's more when I'll just like binge a book. But drop your reading recommendations in the comments, because you guys always give me the best book recommendations. I'm an empath, so I was wondering when the last time you cried was. Literally yesterday. Grace and I were watching Toy Story 3 and I sobbed like a baby. I don't know. I thought it's been so long since I first saw this movie, and yes, the ending tugs on your heartstrings, but like many a time. Granted, it's been a long time. I don't know if I've watched it since I had kids, which the ending for me now hits like in such a different way. And so we're watching it, and the scene at the end where Andy's grown up and he goes to give his toys away and he plays with them one last time. I'm like silently sniffling, and Grace looks over at me and she's crying. She's like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "Yeah." And I don't know, I felt it. And then when he looks in the mirror and he says, as he's driving away, he says to his toys, "Thanks, guys." I was like, oh man, that happened a couple weeks ago with Up too, where I was like, yeah, of course, the beginning of Up is emotional, but once you've seen it, no. So lesson learned, I will now expect to cry in showing my children all of these beautiful, heartfelt movies from my childhood. Do you miss making your main channel content at all? I do not, and that's how I know, looking back on it, it was definitely time to wrap it up, to call it. And actually looking back, realizing that I think I held on longer than I should have, and my time on that channel and making that type of content had just, it had run its course, and I had felt unfulfilled by it and burnt out and ready to step away from it for a long time. And that's why, we brought in the collective and decided to try and keep things going that way, because I didn't want to abandon that channel and disappoint the viewers. And also I wanted to keep my team employed. And so I was like, okay, this is a way that we can try to do that. And it really brought in a breath of fresh air to the channel. And I'm so grateful for that and grateful for them. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't sustainable. And it was time to just say, you know what? This channel and this era of my life has run its course, and make peace with that. And I just could not be happier that I finally made that decision, because I held on to it for a really long time and it just was not good for me anymore, especially having 2 young kids at home and feeling this desire to be a stay-at-home mom and having the ability to do it, but just being the one standing in my own way. So while I'm like so grateful for that chapter in my life, I don't miss it, and I'm loving being at home with the kids, and also I'm really enjoying what I'm doing with this channel right now. And just, it feels feels like the pressure's off, you know? I'm living my life. I'm deep in motherhood and in pursuit of my best self, and I'm sharing parts of it as I go, but it's a side thing again. It's, you know, a part-time job, and it's great to still be able to do this and have this community and bring in income from it, but I'm so glad to have it no longer be the forefront of my life. Please tell us more about leaving the parenthood trenches, age gap thoughts. So I do feel like pretty recently, maybe in the past month or so, we're kind of emerging from that very early stage of parenthood where the needs are just constant, where it feels impossible to get things done, and I just feel like I'm being pulled in a million directions. Like, we're kind of exiting that season, and there are still hard moments and hard days where it feels like there is just not enough of me, or I'm getting overstimulated and I need to go outside and take some deep breaths. But overall, I feel like things are getting easier and also just so fun and so wonderful to watch. Like, the girls play so well together right now, and that's pretty recent. Like, Alice being really involved in the play with Grace, and I think having that age gap, because they're just under a 3-year age gap, Grace really enjoys like setting up activities for Alice. Okay, Alice, we're gonna color this, or here, I got these stickers out, or let's play with these toys, and let's play like this specific scenario with pretend play, you know? And she's also old enough that she has like so much patience and understanding too of like when her younger sister gets really upset about something or really wants a toy that she's playing with, like she gets it. And so they just play so well together. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a sec, things were not this easy just a couple months ago. And most days feel, easy's not the right word, definitely not easy, but I guess comfortable. Lower stress for sure. And I'm really enjoying it. And I just love being with the girls so much. And they just like really truly amaze me every single day at how smart and creative and spectacular they are. And we're entering a really fun stage. And so I'm excited to see that bond grow with them. And it's one of my biggest things as a parent is I just want to instill that close sibling bond between them and do what I can now to help that closeness stick in life, because being close with both of my brothers is like one of the greatest gifts that I feel like my parents gave me. Kids being vegetarian. Okay, so I am vegetarian. Well, really what I should say, and what I think I'm going to try to start saying, is just I don't eat meat, because the label vegetarian, especially saying that publicly online, it does kind of put me under a microscope. And I feel like in some ways I kind of backed myself into a corner by just offhanded being like, oh yeah, I'm vegetarian, because my boundaries for vegetarianism are different from what somebody else's might be. Like, for me, I don't want to eat meat, but if I'm at a Mexican food restaurant, I'm going to assume that the beans probably have lard in them, and I'm fine with that. Or I'm going to have the miso soup at a sushi restaurant that is made with fish broth, you know? I know that Parmesan cheese has rennet in it. I know that Nerds gummy clusters have gelatin. And so I kind of regret ever saying like, oh yeah, I'm vegetarian. I wish I would have just said like mostly plant-based, but just in my everyday life, that's always how I've labeled it. Like, oh yeah, I'm vegetarian. And the little intricacies with it are just up to me. It's personal. And so all this to say, I don't eat meat. So when Grace was born, Steven and I talked about it, because Steven is not vegetarian and no one else in my family is, or his family. So when we talked about it, my big thing was like, I just want her to make the choice for herself. You know, I want her to be able to understand where meat comes from and make that choice for herself. But how do you do that in practice? Like, do you start them eating meat, but explain it to them? Do you not have them eat any meat? Where are the lines with animal products, eggs, dairy, all that kind of stuff? So in Steven and I talking about it, and also talking to her pediatrician, when we introduced solids with her, we decided to start her pescatarian and just kind of go from there. And as she got older, we explained it as, this is what mom does, this is what dad does. It's everyone's own choice, you know, how they want to fuel their body. What do you think? And Grace has definitely, she's tried meat here and there, but she's leaned more towards really being uninterested in it. Alice, on the other hand, we also started, well, I guess we didn't start her pescatarian. Is there such a thing as poultry poultritarian. We just did like fish and chicken, mostly turkey as well. Really my issues with meat production and consumption is more of an issue with red meat. So we decided to offer her chicken pretty early on. And then also with both the girls, just anytime they want to try something that's like on Steven's plate or at a barbecue, like we always allow that. And Alice is far from a vegetarian. She definitely enjoys meat. And that's also something that I've had to kind of reassess is before I was like, okay, well, when they're old enough to understand, you know, then they can make that choice for themselves. She's not old enough to understand, but she wants to try it. She's liked it. I try to explain it to her as much as I can for her age, but really I feel like it's just become I've been much more lax with it as time has gone on, and we still eat mostly plant-based at home, but out and about, kind of free game. What do you think of toddler activities and opinions on overscheduling versus enrichment? This is something that is so top of mind for me right now because Grace wants to do everything, and I want to let her explore all of those interests and activities, but I also don't want her to be overscheduled. I want to allow for lots of downtime and unstructured play at home, family time. So right now, well, what I was about to say is already not true. Right now, what I had said is we can do 2 activities at a time, and she can try lots of different things and, you know, cycle through them, try a session of this, and then, you know, when that ends, try a session of that. But she's in 3 activities right now, so I guess that's already gone out the window. She wanted to do 5 though, when we were looking at like the class catalog for our city. I'm like, that too much. So yeah, trying to find the balance with that. And also now as Alice is getting older, like soon that is going to be multiplied times 2 with the schedule and the activities. So yeah, it's such a thing to balance because I don't want them to be overscheduled, but also I want to allow her to explore those interests and like do the things that she's passionate about. So yeah, just trying to find the balance with that. How do you get the motivation to get up early for your runs? This is one thing where I do feel like taking up running after becoming a mom, it has a benefit because as hard as it is to get the time for those runs, I cannot like push it back. I have worked so hard to carve out that window. If I don't get right up and get to that run, it's not going to happen. There's not another spot in the day usually that I can move it to. And so when I have committed to these are the times that I'm doing my runs this week, be it early in the morning, I have no option to move that, you know? It's now or never. And so I've just really gotten the habit of, okay, it's now, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter how tired I am. Well, not no matter, you know, but pushing past a lot of those initial feelings of, I don't wanna, I'm tired. Oh, where's the snooze button? I'm like, if I wanna stick to this and I wanna hit my goals and honor that commitment to myself, I gotta just do it. And so that being said, trying to do this while being a mom, I feel like has really taken the procrastinator out of me. It's really turned me into someone who can just get up and go and is going to do it. And so as much as that can be challenging sometimes, I think it's really helped me build like more self-discipline. Okay, I was digging through the screenshots because I always screenshot questions for this beforehand to try to find this one because it's kind of on the same thought process of what I was just saying. Do you ever mourn your life before kids? No, in the traditional sense, but I mourn what more I could have done with that time, if that makes sense. I don't desire that now, but I look back and I feel like, I'm like, girl, you could have done so much more with the time that you had, you know? I did not appreciate enough, or looking back, I don't feel like I did enough with the time, the freedom, the flexibility. And I'm like, oh my, I get like frustrated at my past self, but I was not the person I am now back then. Having kids has built more motivation, self-discipline, grit, even just changed who I am and who I want to be, what I'm working towards. And so, yeah, I don't mourn the life, but I get frustrated at my past self. Ugh, how are you dealing with the current political situation? Disturbed German here. Disturbed American as well. Oh man, I am just so frustrated and disheartened and sad really for the state of this country and just angry at the choices of the current administration. It's not something I talk about online as much anymore because it's just really exhausting, and it's something that I feel like I can never get right. And also, like, you know, where's the line of virtue signaling and posting to check a box versus like really driving awareness and funds and speaking up for change? And so that's something that I'm focusing more on in my like personal life right now, having those conversations, staying educated, going to protest. But yeah, it is a hellscape, and I am very, very saddened by, I mean, so much, but especially just the way that marginalized people are being steamrolled and further marginalized and discriminated against by shitty people with shitty ideologies. So yeah, it freaking sucks. I'm angry and sad. That's where I'm at, and disturbed, as the question put it. Oh, see, and that's where, like, talking about anything remotely political online, it's just really, really so delicate. After filming that, I haven't moved on to the next question. I've been walking for like 5 minutes, just running back over what I said in my head and going, okay, did I word that right? Could that be misconstrued? Maybe I should have said this instead. And like, I just so deeply don't want to be misunderstood or misspeak, and it's hard to get right, and it's something that I worry about a lot. But you know, I think over the years I've hopefully made my morals and my stance clear. So yeah, trying to do what I can while also not like doom scrolling too much and getting disheartened. But it is a tough time to be an American, and a shameful time in a lot of ways. Okay. Next question. How, if at all, is your mental health affected by people asking about your weight loss? It's really interesting because the response to my body changes in my real life is so entirely different than online. I feel like online, it's made into like kind of a huge deal. And I'm sure part of that is self-imposed because so much of my content for so many years was about fashion and therefore size and of course confidence and body positivity, which are still so crucial to me, but to me internally, not at all tied to my size and the way my body looks. It's an internal thing, choosing to love and accept and appreciate myself at any size and any stage of life. And so it does sometimes make me feel a type of way with, you know, the discourse online of like, well, if you've lost weight, you're not body positive anymore, or even just kind of making a big deal about my weight, because in my real life, it doesn't really come up. Like, it's just so vastly different, you know? I think the most I get is like, you know, someone I haven't seen in a while being like, oh my gosh, wow, you've lost weight. Or, you know, sometimes it's the, you look great. And I just try to turn it to a thank you so much. I feel great. Like I'm trying to focus on how I'm feeling and what I'm working towards and what's bringing me joy in my life. And so in my real life, it's just kind of not a thing that is a big topic of conversation. Like there's so many bigger things going on and so much more to me as a person. And so it's been an interesting thing to navigate online of just, for me personally, trying to really detach my self-worth and also my identity from my size and just letting myself exist in the body that I'm in. And then when it is so heavily commented on, it can kind of make me second guess that. And so, yeah, all this to say, specifically like about weight and size, it doesn't really affect me, but just like, I guess knowing that I'm being like perceived or analyzed or critiqued in that way is where it gets like a little dicey with the mentality for me personally. Okay, last question, because not only am I almost done with the hike, my camera battery is blinking, so let's see if I get through this. I have 3-year-old and newborn girls. I need to know what's behind the girl mom trenches. Some of my favorite things with the girls right now that were hard to imagine in the newborn stage, constantly crafting and making bracelets, sharing in the joy of music and movies together, and having two little tag-alongs who just want to do whatever I'm doing no matter what it is. Whether it's hanging out with me while I'm getting ready or working out or wanting to come along while I'm doing errands or just going upstairs to change the laundry. They're like, we'll come. It's a very sweet and special time, and seeing them paint each other's nails, or Grace painting Alice's nails, and how excited Alice gets at that, and them delighting and playing with my makeup with me and picking out my outfits and with Grace. And I'm really excited to get to have this connection with Alice too as she gets older. With Grace, seeing just how like emotionally intelligent she is and what an amazing communicator she is and how she can express herself to me, and in a lot of ways seeing my parenting pay off and feeling like with just how amazing she is, like I guess I did something right along the way. Even just in the way that she talks to Alice. It's like, oh, like where did you learn to speak in that just sweet, wonderful, like encouraging way? And then sometimes taking the step back and being like, I guess some of that came from, oh, I almost tripped. I guess some of that came from me along the way, and it feels really good, and it just makes me really proud. So yeah, that is gonna be it for this hike chat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments any other questions or topics you have, and I will be screenshotting some for my next one, because usually I pull them from Instagram, but for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, I want to get some from here too. So leave your comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.